The modern world is an ocean of unrelenting noise, a constant barrage of external stimuli that demands our attention from the moment we wake until the moment we fall into a fitful sleep. Yet, there exists a specific internal phenomenon that only reveals itself when the external clamor finally subsides, often in the deep stillness of the night or the quietude of a meditative state. You may have experienced it as a persistent ringing, a delicate hum, or a high-pitched frequency that seems to originate from within the very fabric of your consciousness rather than the physical environment. For the uninitiated, this sound is often met with immediate skepticism or a rush to find a clinical diagnosis. Yet those who walk the path of spiritual awareness understand that this is the beginning of a profound dialogue. It is a subtle invitation to shift your focus from the material to the ethereal, acknowledging that the boundaries of your existence extend far beyond what your physical eyes can see or your hands can touch. According to the foundational principles of spiritual science, particularly those illuminated by the codification of Allan Kardec, we are never truly alone, and the invisible realm is constantly reaching out to provide guidance, comfort, and warning. This sound is the signature of that connection, a resonant bridge constructed of pure vibration that bypasses the limitations of human language to speak directly to the soul. By exploring the depths of this internal hum, we move past the superficial layers of reality and begin to address the core of our spiritual identity, recognizing that what we perceive as a physical annoyance is actually a celestial notification. It is the sound of the universe knocking on the door of your awareness, asking you to reconsider your place in the vast, interconnected web of life that spans multiple dimensions. This introduction serves as your threshold, inviting you to set aside fear and embrace a narrative of expansion, where the mysterious ringing in your ears becomes a sacred compass, leading you toward a higher state of being and a more profound understanding of the eternal self. To understand the origin of this persistent frequency, one must first accept the spiritual premise that every thought, every emotion, and every soul operates on a specific vibrational scale. Allan Kardec taught that the spirit is not a separate entity from the universe, but a vital component that interacts with the material world through fluidic currents and energetic signatures. When you hear that high-pitched hum in the quiet of your room, you are likely experiencing the intersection of your own perispirit, the energetic envelope of the soul, with the vibrations of the spirit world. It is a sign that your spiritual receptors are being stimulated by an external intelligence, or a collective energetic shift that requires your attention. This call is not random. It is a calculated effort by the invisible realm to penetrate the density of material life and establish a link with a mind that is currently in a state of receptivity. In the silence, the soul becomes an antenna, capable of picking up frequencies that are usually drowned out by the heavy, low-vibration noise of human struggle and ego. This resonant call acts as a bridge, a dimensional umbilical cord that reminds the incarnated spirit of its true home in the planes of light and purpose. When we sit with this sound, we are participating in a historical tradition of mediumship where the first signs of communication are often sensory disruptions rather than clear visions. It is a call to awaken, a gentle nudge from the heavens, suggesting that the veil between the worlds is thinner than you were led to believe. By acknowledging the sound without prejudice, you validate the presence of your spiritual brothers and sisters who are attempting to synchronize their energy with yours. This synchronization is necessary for the transmission of higher wisdom, as the spirits must lower their frequency slightly, while you raise yours to find a common ground where the message can be felt. The ringing is the auditory manifestation of this meeting point, a place where time and space collapse to allow for a moment of pure energetic exchange between the living and those who have transitioned beyond the physical. The manifestation of these sounds can be likened to the fine-tuning of a high-end radio receiver that has been dusty and unused for many years. As you begin to move along your spiritual path, your internal energetic structure undergoes a process of purification and calibration, designed to make you a clearer vessel for divine insight. Allan Kardec emphasized that the development of mediumistic faculties is a natural law, a gradual evolution of the human spirit that requires both discipline and an open heart. The ringing you experience is the sound of your spiritual antenna being adjusted to capture the subtle broadcasts of the spirit world without the interference of your own psychological projections. This tuning process can be uncomfortable, manifesting as pressures in the head or a persistent hum that feels almost intrusive, but it is an essential phase of growth. Imagine the spirits as skilled technicians who are meticulously calibrating your perispirit so that when a specific guidance or warning needs to be delivered, the transmission is instant and clear. This adjustment is often based on your current level of moral and intellectual maturity. As you refine your character and seek to help others, the frequency of your antenna rises, allowing you to connect with more elevated mentors. If the sound feels harsh or chaotic, it may reflect the need for inner peace and a cleansing of negative thoughts to harmonize your field. Conversely, a steady, crystalline tone often indicates that your energy is aligning with a protective and wise entity. This period of tuning is a time of preparation where you are taught to distinguish your own mental chatter from the profound, vibrating presence of the spiritual hierarchy. It requires you to be an active participant in your evolution, choosing to remain calm and focused while the celestial engineers work on the delicate mechanisms of your intuition. Ultimately, this calibration is the groundwork for a life of service and enlightenment, ensuring that your connection to the invisible is robust enough to withstand the trials of physical existence. Within the vast spectrum of the spirit world, there are countless beings, each with a unique vibrational identity that acts as an energetic fingerprint. When a specific frequency persists in your auditory field, you are often being introduced to the signature of a personal guide or a spiritual mentor who has been assigned to assist you in this incarnation. Allan Kardec's research into the nature of guardian angels and familiar spirits reveals that these protectors rarely intervene in loud, dramatic ways, preferring the subtle influence of thoughts and sensations. The ringing in your ears is their signature, a non-verbal way of stating, "I am here and I am watching over you." Learning to recognize this specific tone allows you to develop a sense of safety that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is a reminder that you are part of a lineage of light, supported by an entity who understands your struggles, your past lives, and your ultimate potential. This mentor uses the frequency to create a moment of pause in your day, encouraging you to reflect on your current choices or to breathe through a stressful situation. When you acknowledge this signature with a thought of gratitude, the link between you and your protector strengthens, allowing for a more fluid exchange of intuition and inspiration. This is not a relationship of subservience, but one of collaboration, where the mentor provides the frequency of peace and perspective while you navigate the challenges of the material plane. The signature acts as a baseline of tranquility. No matter how chaotic the external world becomes, that internal hum serves as a reminder of the eternal stability of the spirit. Over time, as you become more attuned to this specific frequency, you may find that it changes slightly in pitch or intensity to warn you of upcoming obstacles or to celebrate spiritual victories. It is a living, breathing connection that evolves as you do, a constant celestial companion that whispers through the vibrations of the soul that you are loved beyond measure and never truly abandoned. The emergence of these auditory phenomena is a strong indicator that you possess a latent sensitivity, a dormant faculty of mediumship that is beginning to stir within your being. Mediumship, as explained in the works of Allan Kardec, is not a mystical power reserved for the chosen few, but a biological and spiritual sensitivity that exists to varying degrees in all human beings. For you, the ringing in the ears represents the cracking of the shell of materiality, a sign that your spirit is beginning to exert its influence over your physical senses. This sensitivity allows you to perceive the fluidic currents of the universe, sensing shifts in the atmosphere of a room or the hidden intentions of those around you. It is a tool for discernment, granted so that you might navigate the complexities of life with greater wisdom and compassion. However, a sensitive instrument requires careful handling. Your expanded awareness means that you are more susceptible to the energies of your environment, both positive and negative. Developing this faculty involves learning how to insulate your energy through prayer, study, and the practice of charity, ensuring that your spiritual antenna remains focused on the higher planes. You are being called to act as a bridge builder, someone who can sense the reality of the spirit world and bring that peace into the physical realm. This development is not about seeking spectacular visions or public displays of power, but about the quiet refinement of your perception so that you can hear the still, small voice of truth within the noise. As your sensitivity deepens, you will find that the ringing is no longer a mystery but a familiar friend, a reliable metric of your own energetic state and a reminder of your duty to live a life of integrity. This path requires courage, as it often separates you from the mainstream materialistic worldview, but it offers the incomparable reward of living in constant awareness of the divine presence that permeates all things. In our quest for spiritual understanding, we must never abandon the rigors of reason and the necessity of grounded logic, as Allan Kardec himself was a man of science who insisted on the careful observation of phenomena. It is imperative that anyone experiencing persistent ringing in the ears first consults with a medical professional to ensure that the cause is not a physical condition such as tinnitus or a vestibular disorder. The spirit operates through the body, and the health of the physical organism is the foundation upon which spiritual work is built. However, when science finds no cause and treatments offer no relief, we are forced to look toward the metaphysical for answers. The difference between a biological defect and a spiritual sign often lies in the context and the accompanying sensations. A medical condition is persistent and lacks meaning, while a spiritual sign often occurs during moments of emotional significance or spiritual searching. If the sound arrives with a feeling of inexplicable peace, a sudden insight, or a sense of presence in the room, it is highly likely that you are experiencing a mediumistic phenomenon. The spiritual ringing does not degrade the ear, rather it expands the inner hearing of the soul. Understanding this distinction is vital for maintaining psychological balance, as it prevents the misinterpretation of natural bodily processes while opening the door to genuine transcendent experiences. We live in two worlds simultaneously, and a healthy approach recognizes the laws that govern both the dense matter of the body and the subtle fluids of the spirit. By doing your due diligence in the material world, you clear the psychological path to fully accept and integrate the spiritual truth without doubt or superstition. This balanced perspective is what Kardec called reasoned faith, an unshakable conviction that is built on the twin pillars of scientific honesty and spiritual intuition, allowing you to walk with confidence through the mysteries of your own consciousness. There are times when the high-pitched ringing in your ears serves a strategic purpose, orchestrated by your spiritual benefactors, acting as a veil of silence to isolate you from negative influences. This energetic phenomenon can create a sort of sound barrier that dulls the impact of the low-frequency vibrations characteristic of anger, despair, or the chaotic noise of modern urban life. In these moments, the spirits are wrapping you in an insulating layer of energy, essentially muting the outside world so that you can maintain your internal equilibrium during a sensitive period of growth or recovery. This protective ringing ensures that your perispirit is not damaged by the aggressive mental projections of others, providing a private sanctuary of light within your own mind. Imagine it as a digital noise-cancelling feature for the soul, activated when you are in environments that are toxic or draining. By focusing on the internal tone, you are drawn back to your center, away from the distractions that seek to siphon off your vitality. This is especially common for those who are undergoing a major transition or who are being prepared for a specific mission of charity and enlightenment. The veil of silence is a sign of extreme mercy, proving that the spiritual hierarchy goes to great lengths to preserve the well-being of those who are striving to do good. Instead of fighting the sound or wishing for it to vanish, try to recognize it as a shield, a gift of solitude granted so that you can hear the deeper whispers of your own conscience. When the internal tone is present, use that time to turn inward to pray or to simply exist in the presence of the divine, knowing that you are being guarded against the storms of the material plane. This energetic insulation allows for the internal work of healing and recalibration to proceed without interference, ensuring that you emerge from the silence stronger, clearer, and more resilient. Fear is the single greatest obstacle to spiritual communication, creating a density in our energetic field that acts like a lead shield against the higher frequencies of the spirit world. When the ringing in the ears first begins, the ego often reacts with fear of the unknown, interpreting the sound as a sign of madness or an impending disaster. This fear-based vibration lowers our frequency, making it impossible to interpret the message, and often inviting lower, more troubled spirits who feed on anxiety and confusion. Allan Kardec warned that our internal state acts as a magnet. If we are afraid, we attract that which we fear. Navigating through this frequency requires a conscious decision to replace fear with curiosity and trust in the benevolence of the universe. When you hear the sound, acknowledge the fear, but do not let it drive the narrative. Instead, speak to your spirit, reminding yourself that you are an immortal being protected by laws of love and progress. By breathing through the anxiety and remaining calm, you allow your vibration to rise once more, which clears the signal and allows the true meaning of the message to shine through. The spirits of light cannot force their way through a mind clouded by panic, but they wait patiently at the threshold of our peace. Understanding that this sound is a natural part of spiritual evolution helps to demystify the experience, transforming a terrifying mystery into a manageable and meaningful occurrence. As you master your fear, you will notice that the quality of the ringing changes. It becomes softer, more harmonious, and less intrusive. You are learning to hold your space in the presence of the infinite, developing the courage required to be a conscious inhabitant of both worlds. This conquest of fear is a major milestone in your spiritual journey, as it signals to the universe that you are ready to move from a position of victimhood to one of empowered awareness and active collaboration with the invisible. The validity of a spiritual auditory sign is often confirmed through what we call emotional resonance, a sudden and profound reaction of the heart that occurs in perfect synchronicity with the sound. You may find that, as the ringing begins, you are overcome by a wave of inexplicable joy, a sudden urge to forgive someone who has wronged you, or a deep, cleansing sense of grief that has no physical cause. These emotions are the soul's response to the energetic touch of a spirit. The ringing is the call, and the emotion is the recognition. Allan Kardec taught that spirits communicate not just through thoughts, but through the transmission of pure feelings that bypass the intellect and strike the heart directly. This resonance serves as an irrefutable internal proof that the experience is genuine, as no physical defect of the ear can produce a sense of universal love or a moment of absolute clarity. It is in these moments that the ringing transcends being a mere sound and becomes a medium for transformation, acting as a catalyst for profound personal breakthroughs. You might feel a shiver of truth go down your spine, or a sudden warmth in your chest that lingers long after the sound has faded. These signs are cumulative. As you experience them more frequently, you build a library of spirit within yourself, recognizing specific vibrations as markers of different guides or messages. This emotional literacy is essential for the modern seeker, as it prevents us from being led astray by intellectual vanity or the coldness of materialism. The spirits use your own emotions as a canvas to paint a picture of hope and continuity, proving that life is a shared experience that does not end at the grave. By allowing these emotions to flow without judgment, you create a receptive environment for the spirit to work, turning your body into a living temple where the divine can reside and communicate through the language of pure, resonant feeling. If you attempt to drown out the internal ringing with constant distraction, noise, or the pursuit of superficial pleasures, you may find that the sound only grows more persistent and demanding. The universe, in its infinite wisdom and patience, does not easily abandon those who have a role to play in the grand evolution of consciousness. This persistence is a sign that the message you are avoiding is vital for your current growth or for the mission you agreed to before reincarnating into this world. Allan Kardec's codification of Spiritism reminds us that we have a purpose, a reason for being in this specific body at this specific time, and the cosmic call of the ringing ear is a nudge to get back on track. It is the universe's way of saying that there is work to be done, inner work, work of charity or work of learning, and that you have the support of the higher planes to achieve it. The sound persists because your soul is remembering its commitments, even if your conscious mind is too preoccupied with the mundane to acknowledge them. This persistence should be viewed not as a nuisance, but as a supreme act of loyalty from your spiritual guides, who refuse to let you drift into a state of spiritual stagnation. They continue to ring the bell of your awareness because they know the brilliance of your true potential and the importance of the time you are currently living in. Eventually, the decision to stop and listen becomes the only path forward, as the internal pressure of the ignored call creates a tension that can only be released through surrender and acceptance. When you finally turn your attention to the sound and ask, "What is it that I need to know?" the persistence shifts into a calm flow of information and inspiration. The call has been answered, and the dialogue can finally begin in earnest, leading you toward the next chapter of your spiritual evolution with a sense of clarity and renewed vigor. Accepting the call signified by the internal ringing is an act of spiritual adulthood, a realization that you are responsible for the management of your own energetic field and the development of your inner life. This acceptance marks the transition from being a passive recipient of external experiences to being an active, conscious co-creator with the divine. By welcoming the frequency rather than fearing it, you open the gates to an immense library of inner wisdom that has been stored within your soul through many lifetimes. Allan Kardec spoke of the intuition of the soul, a faculty that allows us to tap into the collective wisdom of the spirit world through our own refined sensitivity. As you sit in acceptance of the sound, you will find that the answers to your most pressing questions start to emerge not as external voices, but as internal certainties and sudden flashes of clear-sighted logic. This inner wisdom is your birthright, a collection of truths that reside beneath the surface of the ego, waiting for the right vibration to bring them to the light. The ringing acts as the key to this internal vault, provided so that you might access the strength and knowledge needed to fulfill your life's purpose. Accepting the call means being willing to sit in the silence, to endure the discomfort of change, and to listen to the difficult truths that your conscience may reveal. It is a path of humility and power where you recognize that you are a student of the universe, always learning and always growing. This decision transforms the ringing from a mysterious symptom into a trusted signal of arrival, a sign that you have entered into the sacred space of communion where human effort meets spiritual grace. In this state of acceptance, you are finally ready to walk the path of the medium, not necessarily as a professional channel, but as a person who lives every day in alignment with the light of the Spirit, bringing wisdom, healing, and peace to everyone you encounter. The journey through the mystery of the ringing in your ears leads us to an inevitable conclusion. We are multifaceted beings, navigating a universe that is far more alive and responsive than our physical senses suggest. What begins as a subtle internal hum ends as a profound realization of our eternal connection to the higher planes of light and existence. As we have explored through the wisdom of Allan Kardec and the lens of modern spiritual awareness, these auditory phenomena are the early warning systems and the primary communication channels of a soul that is waking up to its divine heritage. We are called to be courageous, to seek the truth with reason and faith, and to trust that the vibrations we feel are the signatures of an invisible family that loves us without fail. This ringing is not a symptom to be cured, but a relationship to be nurtured, a dimensional phone call that invites us to step out of the shadows of materiality and into the radiant light of spiritual truth. When the sound returns, and it surely will, view it as a sacred moment of connection, a time to close your eyes, breathe, and remind yourself that you are a vital part of the cosmic melody. The silence of the world is where the music of the Spirit begins, and you have been chosen to listen, to learn, and ultimately to share that harmony with a world that is desperately seeking its own sense of purpose. Trust in the vibration, honor the message, and walk forward with the absolute certainty that you are guided, you are supported, and you are eternal. This is the end of the confusion and the beginning of a life lived in full resonance with the invisible, where every sound is a message and every silence is an opportunity to hear the profound, loving whisper of the infinite source.